In a genre that often insists on leaving loose ends, plot twists, or cliffhangers, it's not a shock that horror is one of the largest selection of fan theories out there, ranging from a shared universe to time travel to characters popping up in multiple franchises. Fans of the genre have made some groundbreaking theories that are shockingly difficult to debunk. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, we're listing off some of the best with our list of the top 5 creepy horror movie fan theories that will keep you up at night. Let's jump in. In at 5, Sam Loomis. Now the name Sam Loomis will ring a bell for most of you horror lovers out there, but more shockingly it might not be from just one movie. No, the characters of Sam Loomis appear in 2 iconic horror movies from 2 different directors. The first Sam Loomis appeared in Hitchcock's 1960 film Psycho. He was the boyfriend of Marion Crane, the woman who suffered a grim fate in the Bates Motel bathroom. As we know, by the end of the film, Loomis catches the crazed killer who was ultimately arrested. The second Sam Loomis appears in John Carpenter's Halloween, the psychiatrist famous for treating the deranged serial killer Michael Myers. So how are these 2 linked? Well, the theory goes that Sam Loomis in Psycho was so traumatized after the events that unfolded at Bates Motel that he was ultimately led into a career in psychology, leading him to a new patient, Michael Myers. This one is a stretch, and the most likely reasoning behind the same names is Carpenter's attempt at a subtle nod to Psycho, considering Janet Leigh, who played Marion Crane, is the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis, aka Laurie Strode in Halloween. Pretty cool. In at 4, the origin of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now this 1974 horror directed by Tobe Hooper already has an abundance of theories surrounding it, but a more notable one that has surfaced recently is the connection to Ed Gein. As we know, the serial killer was the inspiration behind the horror franchise, but is there more to it? Well, according to fans, yes. Theorists believe that officers who were investigating the Gein case lost their minds within the house. I mean, being surrounded by human skulls, wastebaskets of human skin, and nipples and noses lying around will do that to you. They descended into the deepest depths of madness to the point that they decided to stay in the house, continue on the heinous crimes, and recreate his infamous murders, eventually becoming the family we see in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, it makes a lot of sense considering R. Lee Ermey played a sheriff in the franchise, assisting in all the grim murders of Leatherface. It also explains why the family never got caught. Weird. In at 3, time travel, the Blair Witch Project. Now, I am a big fan of this theory, and it logically makes the most sense, surprisingly. It's been discussed that in the original Blair Witch, the main characters Heather, Mike, and Josh either went back in time or were in an alternate reality when they stepped foot into the woods. How is this backed up? Well, in the sequel film, when the characters stumble across rocks and stick figures, some fans have been quick to point out that they almost exactly resemble the ones we see in the first film, and that perhaps they were. Not only that, but when James hears screaming, many people think it was actually Heather, and the screaming Heather hears is actually James, thus putting the 2 films in the exact same timeline during the exact same time. It has also been noted that James could have been the one to scare Heather when she entered the basement, making her drop her camera and possibly killing her. This turns out to be true. The theory is essentially confirming that the Blair Witch doesn't in fact kill, but is instead just an entity lingering in the woods. In at 2, the Home Alone and Saw connection. Now this one is just plain fun, and yet I can't help but believe it could be true. As we all know, Kevin McAllister suffered through a nightmarish ordeal when his family left him home alone, forcing him to get creative as 2 thieves entered his home. It's a family film, we get that. When you look a little closer, it seems that Kevin has some anger issues lying dormant inside him, finally coming out when he's forced to defend himself and his home. He drops an iron on one man's head, scatters glass and tar on the floor, and even blowtorches one guy's face. Honestly, if that's not a psychopath, I don't know what is. Now, with all these alarming torture devices, many fans have drawn comparisons to the Saw film, which as we know is entirely reliant on torture devices to test its victims. Could it be that little Kevin McAllister grew up to be Jigsaw, emotionally scarred by his childhood ordeal, thus living out the rest of his life setting up traps and testing those that are wasting theirs? I mean, it's not the strangest thing I've ever heard. I actually fully believe it. What do you guys think though? Finally, in at number 1, all horror films are connected. This one is true. It just has to be. I don't see how it couldn't be. Could all horror films be connected in one universal timeline? Well, we get our answer in the 1998 film Bride of Chucky. In one scene, an evidence locker is opened, showing off Michael Myers' mask, Freddy's glove, Leatherface's chainsaw, and Jason's mask. How is it that all these killers are appearing in one film? Could it be that one detective, maybe the likes of Joseph Thorne, have been investigating all of these cases, and these are the remains of what's left of the iconic killers? Well, considering that Michael Myers ended his reign of terror by being decapitated at the end of the Halloween franchise, Freddy also died at the end of his franchise, and Jason in Friday the 13th. We aren't too sure what became of Leatherface, but the likely answer is that the authorities eventually hunted him down and arrested him, perhaps even killing him in the process. With all of that, it's not completely far-fetched to believe that these are all resolved cases by one department, and the one final killer to be sought after? Chucky. Well, there we have it. What do you guys think of these theories? Are there any that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later.